home of Australia's best coffee, thickest beards and brownest river. But beneath all of this surface charm beats the heart of game development in Australia. The state of Victoria is home to 121 development studios and houses some of the country's best talent. And that's why, for the second year running, Melbourne is the home of the International Games Week, when the city is consumed by game culture and events. And today we're headed to Acme X for the She Makes Games workshop. So what is She Makes Games?
She Makes Games is a one-day workshop where we have an opportunity at Girl Geek Academy to teach women and introduce women into the world of making games, which is something that I absolutely love. It's a huge passion of mine, and for me getting into the industry, it wasn't exactly a natural progression. So I want to show people how they can get into the industry as well.
And I liked the fact that a lot of the people here are not necessarily people who develop games. They might be people who play it. Sometimes they're not even people who play games. And is that important to appeal to those people?
Definitely. We want to basically give women the opportunity to realise that there is a place for them within the world of games. Whether it's playing games, whether it's making games, marketing games, telling more people about games, there's all these different ways that we can get more people and diverse people into the industry or into the inner circle of gaming culture, and that's a really important thing. We don't necessarily mind who comes to our event at all. We just want anyone and everyone to get the courage to come along and join in.
And what do you find is the difference of running something like She Makes Games as opposed to just something where it's just developers coming along?
It is very, very different, and we have to make sure, obviously, the people that we bring along to facilitate are different. They understand who they're talking to and who their audience is, because obviously we're not going to bring people in to have high-level tech talks. What we're doing is storytelling. That's the biggest difference with our event today. It's about storytelling and anecdotes so that they can see themselves in the industry. We want representation. We want them to be able to go, oh, okay, I could be Recode in 10 years maybe. That's who I want to be. So that's what we do, yeah.
And what does that mean? A day packed with talks and panels, as well as seminars on programming, sound design and marketing strategies. Also, some lunch, of course.
Just a close-up of my mouth.
So can you just tell me how you got into video games?
So my dad was a programmer, so we had computers around much before my friends. So I saw myself as a gamer, and then I did computer science in university and then ended up in the games industry.
And you worked at Ubisoft before starting your own company?
Yeah, for 8 years at Ubisoft, yeah. 5 years on the Assassin's Creed franchise. I was an AI team lead on Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and 3, and then I worked on Child of Light.
You mentioned in your talk that a lot of your work was in AI,
yes,
and that you were putting yourself in video games, so when people are playing against the AI, they're playing against you. Is that sort of like a philosophy that you've had about how people should be putting themselves in their own games?
I never thought about that. It's just an opportunity I had when I worked at Relic to write the AI, so you play against it. It was just me and one other guy who wrote it. In terms of AI in games, I'm super interested in what we're going to do with AI over the next 10 years. I think we focus a lot on graphics, and that's great, but I'm so much more interested in who are these characters, why are they doing what they're doing. I just want to explore open worlds of procedural drama that's happening with interesting characters and different groups gossiping about each other and going to social war with each other.
And a lot of what you spoke about was the idea of people who don't like video games are probably some of the most important people we should have in video games. Why is that?
There's a phenomenon where when you have a group of experts, they tend to get stuck and not think of the biggest, most innovative ideas. They're all trained the same, they all draw on the same touchstones, and there's also a psychological pressure that happens when people are similar to each other, where they don't share their weird ideas. They don't even realize they have them because there's this pressure to conform even more. But when you have people from outside the group, it breaks that pressure for the experts also, and just people come with fresh ideas. So talking to people there's a lot of people who don't like video games, and to me that's a lot of market opportunity. And if you talk to those people, you can see there's some pretty obvious, easy themes that they might like, and could be really interesting and innovative. If you look at any industry, when you have a product that's well established and you have thousands of people working on that, and you have an audience that loves the thing you're making. You work with that audience to keep refining your product and make it the best it can be. And you don't change the formula. It's working. And there's jobs at stake. Like, you don't just take all these people that have secure jobs with this good audience and then just be like, oh, we're going to make this weird thing, and then the company goes under. You don't do that. So any established group is going to keep making the thing that they make well and make it better and better. It's just interesting for other people to come in and try to make something different also.
And so how important are days like today where you're getting in people who, there's people who want to make games, but there's also teachers and people whose kids play video games? And
yeah, super important. Like, very, very interesting to me to try to get them to talk to games people, make games. Anyone can make a game now, so these are the people I want to see what they make.
Yeah, because a lot of the advice that you were giving the audience was to find things in their life that are difficult or that they're struggling with or that they can really identify with. And you mentioned Gone Home as an example of an incredible game, it's one of my favorite games, where you feel as though because it's so personal, it's actually broadly relatable. The more personal it is, the more relatable it is.
Yes, I think like if you make something personal, I mean, we're all human, we all struggle with the same kind of questions, and so something that's authentic and personal is going to resonate with people more than like something that's based in stereotypes that you're just trying to guess what someone else might feel.
So how do you think that a lot of the people in the other room right now can actually come into the games industry and affect a change?
I guess there's multiple paths they could come into the games industry and affect change. If they came into a games company, like just bringing some fresh ideas and changing the dynamic of the team could bring, like the whole team could have some fresh ideas. But also the tools are so great right now that anyone can make a game. So these guys could team up with each other, or one person could make a game, and you never know what they're going to make.
And do you think that companies, developers could be more open to the idea that you don't need someone who plays video games? That doesn't need to be a prerequisite to get a job. You can just come in as someone who has an idea or like a philosophy?
Yeah, I think when you're building a team to make something, it's important for the team to have like multiple viewpoints represented. So it's really important that like certainly you want the majority of people on your team to know what they're doing. You want like gamers making games. But it's cool if you have like 1/3 of the team of people who like are interested in the topic, passionate about it, but don't know about it, and come with like actual like valid critiques. Yeah.
From what I've seen today so far, it's half about here's how the industry works and here's things that you could go into, but it's also just about meeting other people, and there seems to be way more of an emphasis on networking here.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely right. Teaching skills is awesome, and that's why we've changed the program. The program was very different last year. We didn't have that networking, and I realized that was something that was super important to the attendees. Learning a skill is something awesome. You can potentially go online and learn a skill. Watch some 12-year-old kid teach you on YouTube how to make a game in Unity. But meeting people is something that's very difficult. Meeting mentors, meeting people that you can catch up with coffee next week at GCAP or PAX, that's something you can't teach. And that's why that's the value of our events.
I feel like as well, you've gone from not being in video games to being a producer for a company to running this stuff in a very short amount of time. And then you've almost immediately started giving back to people in that way. Why is that important to you?
It's super important because the games industry is incredible. Like I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love the industry that I worked in. I am also a consumer of games, so it's also a selfish thing for me. So
you just want better.
I want awesome games.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, my favorite games are games that are made with diverse stories. Other than Dota, obviously. But that's crazy. That's a diverse story every time, really. But for me, I want to see games that are made by women from different backgrounds, by people from different ethnicities, people from different sexual preferences and everything. I just want all those stories told so I can play them because they're awesome. And another thing is I want more people in the industry that I can look up to, and I want to see more people in the industry because I had mentors in the industry that told me that I could do it, and I am where I am today because of those people. So it makes sense for me to immediately start getting, it's fine, the water's fine in here, everyone come in, it's awesome.
So what do you hope is next for all the women in the next room after today?
What I want them to do is I want them after today to kind of reflect and realise that there is a place for them in the industry, or there is a place for them making games. I don't want to see them necessarily go out and apply for jobs next week. That's not something that I really really care about. What I want them to do is be inquisitive and be curious and continue to research and watch, like I said, crazy YouTube videos from 12-year-old kids and teach themselves and engage with people and keep on learning. And then this time next year, when it comes around to Melbourne Games Week, they might go to GCAP. They might be like, okay, cool, I'm going to go to GCAP and learn tech talks from these amazing people and go to PAX and network more. I just want them to be able to get the confidence to be inquisitive and keep learning.
That is ridiculous.
Oh!
What happened?
What happened? That was really scary.
That was really weird.